You didn't come here to learn anything. You only came here to remember who you truly are. I have a question for you. What was there before you were born? Was there nothing, or was there something? How you choose to answer this question determines a lot on how you see the world around you. If you subscribe to the cosmology of nothing, of pure happenstance, you might ascribe to the idea that your consciousness just kind of appeared at some point during your gestation phase in your mother's womb. However, if you ascribe to the idea that there was something there already, there was some form of pure conscious awareness, some type of spirit, some type of soul that existed before you were born, that is eternal, that exists beyond just your physical incarnation, exists beyond your ego, exists beyond this physical realm. If you choose to ascribe to the cosmology of something, of divine intelligence and a divine universe, and a universe that doesn't necessarily operate only on the rules of physicality that we see. Scientists have already confirmed that there exists at least 12 different dimensions of reality. So is it fair to say that perhaps we have a limited perspective on reality? When you're able to understand that we have a narrow scope of the totality of reality, it allows you to begin to broaden your perception and expand your awareness. See, if there's a soul that exists outside of ourself, outside of our lives, and it's intelligent, and your soul yearns to grow, it yearns to expand. That is the nature of the universe. Entropy, expansion, eternal expanding and growth. That is the law by which the universe operates on. This soul chose to be incarnated at this exact moment in time, right when you were born, to the parents that chose you and you chose them, through some form of karmic, divine alignment, teaching each other lessons on a soul level that we would not be able to have without each other's interactions. When you strip everything away and you're able to realize that your thoughts aren't who you are, your mind isn't who you are, your body isn't who you are, your ego, your name, all of these things, they aren't what you really are. Because if you remove those things, something still persists. And when you get to what that is, that reveals everything about the nature of who we are and the reality we live in. When you strip everything else away, all that you have left is pure awareness. Simply awareness. The observer state. There's a reason why the observer state is able to impact the world around us through quantum physics, through how our perception takes light and waveforms and collapses it into a reality. Before we observe something, light exists in a state of superposition, where it is simultaneously a wave and a particle. Until we observe it, it doesn't have a form. It's when we observe things that they take form. And when you're left with just this awareness, this is what enlightenment strives towards, is the recognition of the self as the creator of the world around us. And when you realize that you are a creator, you realize that in your life, you've never really learned anything. Because if you're a creator and you are one with the divine, everything you've ever had, ever needed, ever learned was already within you. It's just that we had a great cosmic forgetfulness when we come into this world. We've forgotten everything. And now, as we go through our lives, our goal is simply to remember. Remember who we are. And choose to remember in every present moment. This is the essence of oneness. Remembering that you are everything. You are the observer from where the projection appears. We so easily slip back into forgetfulness, forgetting that we are one with everything, forgetting that we are the divine, and that we are already whole and complete and perfect. You know, there's nothing that needs to be fixed about us. We are just an expression of the divine in a different, unique form. And the divine doesn't want us to all be the same thing. It's already experiencing itself through someone else. And this is why authenticity is so important. You know, trying to fake who you are to be like someone else. When really all that's ever been asked of you is just to truly be yourself. And that's difficult in a world that is so hell-bent on conformity, control, and all of these environmental factors that make us forget who we truly are and try to prop up the individual, but at the same time convince you are this individual who is weak and flawed and imperfect. Because when you're in a state like that, you can be sold to. You will compromise your morals. You're willing to act out of desperation instead of abundance. You know, most of the toughest parts of humanity stem from simply forgetfulness, forgetting we are love, we are all that is, and thinking we are alone, we are separate from source. We've been banished and ashamed by some god who is hell-bent on revenge. That's not the nature of the divine. That's a fabrication used to control the masses, to put people into thinking boxes of thinking where they can't even see outside of a limited lens of perspective, a tunnel vision. So I just want to tell you, you don't need to learn anything else. All you need to do is remember who you are, the observer, the creator. You are literally like that. You are him, her, it, everything. You are that MF. So just remember it, and try and remember it every single moment you can. It's okay to slip back into forgetfulness, but we just got to remind ourselves. So hopefully this was the reminder that you needed today. God bless you all. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful night, wonderful day, whenever you're listening to this. But infinite love and blessings. Have a wonderful day.